Guys, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I've done a live before and I had people that weren't able to hear me, so let me know if you guys can hear me. This I remember. I just had a I just witnessed such a beautiful moment in nature, and I was so grateful to see life just unfold in front of me. So grateful for that moment. And it's funny because I woke up today and I said, it's going to be a wonderful day. It's going to be a day that there's going to be something that's going to happen today. It's going to be really, really wonderful. And I know it's going to continue to unfold because there's going to be more. But I set out outside in my backyard, a place that I normally sit at. And it's been a while actually since I sat right in that little corner because obviously there's different places I could sit. But in this little corner, I sat down and I was thinking, man, I've come so far from when I used to sit in this place. I used to sit in that place and be like, my life is shit. I'm miserable. Nothing is working out. Like, just all these negativity, like negative after negative pattern, negative thoughts. And I thought, man, I'm going to sit here and just like, I don't know. I had that memory come back and I was like, wow, it's crazy that I'm not there anymore and how far I've come along. And then I hear this bird and it's like really loud and I'm like looking around and I spotted it right away. And the bird, I could see it from far away that it was like feeding. It was feeding its little birds. And I thought that is so freaking cute. So freaking cute. And inside my house, I have a binocular. And I came inside and I was like, I need to see this up close. I really need to see these birds like up close. And I did. I looked at them and she was feeding three little birds. Like, the little birds still didn't even have their feathers all the way. All you could see is like their little skin. And it was so adorable. And I was just like, wow, am I really witnessing this? Because, you hear about it and you see about it on TV and you see like all the up close how it happens. But for you to actually witness, for me to actually see it with my own eyes, I thought, this is such a miracle. Like life is such a miracle. And I also think about how if I would have sat in that same spot years ago, a year ago, how that moment could have been right there in front of me, but I would have been unaware of it because my frequency wouldn't have aligned to being able to see the goodness, the beauty that's around me. I would have just been in my head, in my own thoughts, just in my head, thinking how like nothing is going well or just being negative. And when you're stuck in those places, it's like you don't make space for what's already there, the magic, the peace that's already in front of you. And I thought, wow, this is such a good confirmation for me to keep going and keep seeing life in this way. I thought it was such a beautiful metaphor, those three birds. So, yeah, guys, thank you for joining my live stream. Um, one of the reasons I made this live stream is because I wanted to talk about a little bit about the law of detachment, right? The law of detachment. We talk about the law of attraction, that's a popular one. And then recently on my feed, I've been seeing the law of detachment. And I'm like, that would be nice to just detach, but like, how do you do that? How do you actually just detach? And and it's really just the concept in your mind of letting go of wanting things to be a certain way, like just totally forgetting, um, or trusting that things are already perfect as they are, like they're unfolding exactly as they need to be, and that you don't really need to do anything. All you need to do is detach from the outcome. Your only job is to relax and to allow what is, and then trust that everything that's coming your way is right on the money. You know, trust that everything that's coming is correct for you. And that's how you do the law of attachment. It doesn't really get more complicated than that. I think when we talk about the law of attraction, it could get tricky because we start to try to manage our thoughts, right? It's like, well, I only have to think positive. I can only think positive. And that plays a role. But the reality is that you're also going to have negative thoughts come up. And we can't sit there and try to manage every single thought that comes our way, but we can let go of the ones that don't serve us and then allow the good flow to just be, because naturally our nature is to be in a good state. We've just trained our minds to like be negative, right? And it's like you don't really have to train your mind to be positive. I think it's like a natural thing, and it just takes momentum once you just let go of the negative thoughts. That's really really the key, and trusting that once you release it, once you release the negative thoughts, once you like start to let go of the old stories, the old patterns, that you're going to be carried into a new frequency, into a new state, and allowing it, being that version of you that already has all those things. You know, we talk about like, when I get this, I'll be happy. When I get the job, the car, the girl, the boyfriend, whatever, then I'll be happy. But we don't realize that we're giving our power away by doing so. And to realize that our real power is inside of us. We give life a meaning, not the other way around. Bashar talks about this in some of his videos, and it's the concept that nothing has a built in meaning. We give life the meaning, right? Let's say that you get in a wreck, and the wreck of in of itself, doesn't have a meaning. You give that a meaning. People are like, oh, well, it had to happen because X, Y, and Z. No, it didn't have to happen. It just happened. Things just happen a lot of the time. Well, I believe that we attract certain things into our lives also. It's not just things just happen. I'm saying is they don't have a built-in meaning, right? We're the ones that are giving it that meaning. So when we start to assign negative meanings to things, and all of a sudden our world becomes a little bit darker, a little bit uh, more closed. When we start to assign more positive meaning to things, then it becomes more fluid, because we're then given more of a positive meaning to whatever circumstance is unfolding in front of us. So, to recap, nothing really has a built in meaning. We're the ones that are giving it a meaning. Once we know this, I feel like this gives us back our power, right? Because now we're not blaming things outside of us, right? We're not saying this happened because so and so. This happened, this is somebody's fault, a circumstance's fault. And then when you do that, you kind of become a victim to your circumstance, you know? But when you realize you're the one giving it the meaning, you take all your power back. You say, wait a minute, hold on now. Here, I'll share a story. For me, I I kept thinking that once I moved to a new location, that all my problems would go away. And I realized that, okay, let me backtrack the story. So that's what my thought pattern. Once I move to a new location, I will be in a better place. I will feel better, right? That was my thought pattern. So I took the initiative and I was like, let me change where I'm at so I can feel better. Let me change my location. And so what I did is I went to Colorado. I went to Denver and I was like, when I'm in Denver, I'm gonna feel better because of all the mountains, the scenery. I'm gonna have this amazing time and all of my problems will go away. And we do that unconsciously, like with so many things, and we don't realize we're doing it. So I get to Denver and I'm excited. I'm like, wow, the mountains are magnetic. Wow, like I feel the energy because I'm very sensitive to environment, right? And then a few weeks go by and I'm like, man, nothing's really changing. Like my internal state is still the same. I'm still me. I'm still facing the same issues that I was facing before I got to Denver. So I'm like, so does this mean that it really is true what people say, that no matter where you go, there you are? And I quickly realized that no one can change anything for me. Nothing can outside of me can actually change my life but myself. And it's not about changing your location. It's not about pushing things into making them happen, but really about connecting to our intuition and moving from a place of knowing and trusting that this would lead you where you need to be, right? And so being in Denver, that's what I realized. I was like, okay, this is gonna take a lot of work. This is not just I'm in a new place and all my problems go away. I realized I've got work to do. I've got work to do. I've got some patterns to shift. I've got to get in here and really shift my narrative about the things that are happening in my life and why. So I went through a series of different events. I did my own little rituals out there, because I'm very spiritual and I believe in the power of that. And being surrounded by the mountains, I really connected with them and had my own like spiritual journey when I was there. And a lot of things shifted for me. And then it was time to come back home. It was time to come back home. And I realized and that this is where the real practice comes in when you go back home, when you face your family, when you have to deal with the old things that you used to deal with. Because it's not just about going somewhere and then just forgetting about all your problems. It's about really taking in what you practice and what you learn through that journey and applying it to where you are now at, right? So that's exactly what I did. I came back home and I was like still in that little thought pattern of the old way of thinking. And then I was like, man, like I learned so much. Like I need to now apply everything that I've learned. So it was time to practice everything that I've been learning. It was time to really put in the work. And I realized that that work was really, really internal. It was internal. It was letting go. It was letting go and letting go of the old stories again. And once I started to do that, I became more free. I started to release the old patterns. And now here I am in the same location, and I am more free than I've ever been, probably than I was even in Denver. And so I share this story for you to take your power back, to really do that. And if some of you want to know how to do that and want to get deeper into this work, I would be happy to connect with some of you, because this is really, really deep, deep work that needs to be done, deep healing. And it takes time, and we have to be patient with ourselves. But the biggest takeaway is that we need to practice everything that we have, all the concepts, and put them into practice. It's not just about learning and learning and learning. It's about how are you applying those things. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to end the live. Thank you all for joining, the ones that did. And I'll see you guys on the next live.